from point n on vector b, then what will be the information? It indicates a cos theta. Suppose the normal is mn. So from the point M, we have already drawn a normal on the ON side MQ. Then OQ is indicated here. OQ indicates the projection of vector A on vector B, along with ON here is acting vector A, and we have drawn a normal from the side of the vector A on the vector B. This is why here OQ will indicate the projection of vector A on vector B. So A cos theta indicates the projection of vector A on vector B. So we can write here the A cos theta indicates the projection of vector A on vector B. So B into projection of vector A on vector B. So from the dot multiplication we can get another important information. The dot multiplication of the two vectors can be expressed by the projection of two vectors. A student may face this as understand based type question, which consists of 2 marks. Explain that the scalar product can be expressed with projection of two vectors. In this case, a student first of all will submit the definition of scalar product, then he or she will must draw this figure, and from this figure he or she will must inform from this first line to the last of all. And now after finishing this, after showing the projection of one vector on the another vector, he will finish the answer as the understand based type question answer, which consists of 2 marks. From this information we can see that we can express the dot product of two vectors with the projection in this way. Now the important information, there are some particular sectors where we can apply the dot product, very important information. Now we will discuss about those information, some properties of scalar product. There are some important properties of scalar product here. So how the scalar after following the scalar product, how we can solve some important problems. So let us now discuss about some properties of scalar product. Our main formula we have already got. From the scalar product we have got the main information. Scalar product, the first formula of scalar product, vector A dot vector B equals to A B cos theta. Okay, if two vector is same, suppose we will multiply vector A with vector A, the vector are two vectors are same. Suppose vector A equals to vector A or vector A equals to vector B. In the same case, if the two vectors are equal, student will be clear if we write in this way. Suppose here vector A equals to vector B. Now if we multiply A and B, what will be here the value? Suppose vector A dot vector B equals to vector A mod of vector A, and again as the vector A and vector B are equal vector, when we know that from the information of equal vector, we know that when the type and the direction and the value of two vectors will be same, then we call this two vectors, these two vectors is equal vector. According to the information of equal vector, from the classification of vector, where we already know this, so we can apply the value vector A, that means mode of vector A according to the information, and again mode of vector A. I have submitted A and A, why not vector A and B are same here, so their value will be same, direction same, type same. Now cos theta, let us apply mode of A, and we know well what will be the angle of between vector A and A. When in the similar case there will product, in this case similar quantity or similar direction, there will be no angle here, that means here angle will be 0 degree. From here we can write A dot A into, we know the value of cos 0 degree is 1, so the final value will be A square. So from this information properties, first properties, we can say that we can easily see here, when we will multiply two same vector with the help of the scalar product, we will get the square. Here is one important properties of scalar product. On the another case, if the two vector is perpendicular to each other, then which will be the resultant or the value of the scalar product? Suppose here the two vectors are perpendicular to each other, vector A and vector B. Here we can see the angle is 90 degree. So now if we multiply these two vectors, what will be the result? Vector A dot vector B, according to the information, A, B cos 90 degree, and the value we know, the value of cos 90 degree here is the value of cos 90 degree is 0. So the result will be must be 0 here. 0, A dot B equals to 0. So from here we will have to remember a very important information which will help us to solve the CQ question at the mathematical problem, also the MCQ type question, also the information of admission question, especially university admission and engineering admission. Will face this type of, we can face this type of problems related to scalar product. So here we can see, if two vectors are perpendicular on each other, here if two vectors are perpendicular on each other, here vector B is perpendicular on vector A, then their scalar product or dot product will must be 0. So it is a clear identification to identify the two vectors, any two vectors are perpendicular on each other or not. How we can find out this or just this? We can easily find out just this. If we multiply those two vectors with the help of dot product and got the value of the dot product is 0, then easily we can inform that those two vectors were perpendicular on each other. It is a very important information. The question may be given value, they may submit the given value and they ask you the question, those two vectors are perpendicular on each other or not, explain it. Then we will multiply in this way, and if the multiplication, the resultant of the dot product becomes 0, then we can easily say those two vectors are perpendicular on each other. So it's another important properties of the dot product of two vectors. Now we'll discuss about another properties of scalar product. When if we multiply two unit vector with each other, then what will be the value? We know that in three-dimensional coordinate system we have three unit vector I cap, j cap and k cap, and the angle, internal angle between these vector, which will be the angle, we can easily see from the information of the figure. Suppose along with x-axis we know that the unit vector is I cap, along with y-axis the unit vector is j cap, and along with z-axis the unit vector is k cap. And from the information we know that the angle between two axes will all time be 90 degree here. So the angle between I cap and j cap here is 90 degree. The angle between I cap and k cap is 90 degree, and the angle between j cap and k cap is also 90 degree here. So now if we multiply the unit vectors with each other, then which value we will get according to the dot multiplication. First of all, let us multiply two same unit vector with each other. Suppose vector I cap dot vector I cap. So according to the dot product, which will be the result of the dot product of two vector, vector A dot B equal to mode of first vector, mode of magnitude of first vector, magnitude of second vector, and the cos theta, that means cosine of the internal angle between those two vector. So now I cap and I cap. Now according to the information, the value will be the I cap. Suppose mode of I cap dot mode of I cap and cos theta here. Now which is the value of the I cap? We know that according to the definition of unit vector, we know that the vector whose value is 1 unit, the vector whose value is 1 unit or magnitude is 1 unit is known as unit vector. So here we know the value of all the three unit vector is 1. The value of I cap is 1, the value of j cap is 1, the value of k cap is also 1. So let us submit the value. The value of I cap is 1 here, value of I cap is 1 here. Now which will be the value of angle? Then now which will be the value of the angle of cos of theta here? So the angle between I and I, angle with the same vector, which will be the angle here? Suppose along with x-axis there is acting I cap, and let us submit this another I cap. So in this case, a student, especially for the weaker students, there is the important information, the when there will be no angle if two quantities act along with the same line. Suppose here A and B, and here A and B, the two quantities are acting along with same straight line and the same direction, same straight line, condition, same direction. And if two quantities, it may be vector quantities, suppose as our topic is related to vector quantities, let us take these two vector quantities, and in this case suppose vector P and another is vector Q. In this case there will be no angle, theta will be 0 degree, and in this case also there will be no angle, that means that theta will be 0 degree. The weaker student will must remember this information. If two vectors or two quantities acts along with same line and same direction, then the angle will be 0 degree. Or if two quantities or two vectors act parallel to each other, then also there will be no angle, that means 0 degree. On the other hand, so if these two vectors or two quantities act along with each other another direction, opposite direction, from a particular point, if the direction is opposite, same opposite, then an student can easily say here angle will must be 180 degree. So this information are very important, especially for the weaker student, not only for the weaker student, for all the students. So if two quantities, again I am replying, if two quantities or two vectors act along with same line and same direction, there will be no angle, angle will be 0 degree. Or if two vectors or two quantities act parallel to each other, here also angle will be 0 degree. So here the angle between I cap and I cap, as I cap and I cap are acting along with same direction, same line. So according to this information, here there will be no angle, that means angle will be 0 degree here. So which will be the value? 1, 1, and the value of cos 0 degree, we know that 1. So finally it will be 1. So then which will be the resultant of the dot product of two same unit vector is 1. In the same way, we can see that we can say j cap dot j cap will also be 1, k cap dot k cap will also be 1, in this way. So as I cap dot I cap, the value of I cap and I cap is 1, the value of j cap and j cap is 1, and value of k cap and dot k cap is 1. So we can write a information I cap dot I cap equal to j cap dot j cap equal to k cap dot k cap. A student may face this information as the MCQ type question. From here, a student can also face a understand based type question, very important understand based type question, and what's that? A student will must remember, and which will be the understand based type question in this way. A student may face, they explain that the question, understand based question, the I dot I cap equals to what? Explain it. Explain it. Okay, or why or how I cap dot I cap equals to 1, explain it. Explain it. A student may face this type of information as understand based type question. In this case, a student will must submit the full information from here from last of all, according to the dot product or dot multiplication. So here we have completed the multiplication of two unit vector to similar unit vector, same unit vector. Now what will be the value if we multiply two different unit vector with each other? Let us discuss. Suppose I cap dot j cap. Now which will be the value? Very important information. So according to the dot multiplication, a dot b equal to ab cos theta. So we will write here the value of I cap dot the value of j cap and the internal angle between them, cos theta. And we can easily see that from this information, the value of I cap is 1, value of j cap is 1, and here the angle between I cap and j cap is 90 degree. So let us submit cos 90, and we know that 1 dot 1 into 1, and the value of cos 90 we know that is 0. So the resultant will be 0. So from this information we can easily see that when we will multiply two different unit vector with each other according to the dot product, the value will be 0 here. So this may be another understand based type question. So student will must submit the process. Student will must know the process how the resultant or the value of the multiplication of two unit vectors to different unit vectors become 0. A student will must remember this system, and from the information of the figure they must inform this. So all these are too much important, the properties of the scalar product or dot product. So from this information we can finally write in this way. From this information we have already seen when we will multiply two different unit vector the value will be 0 here. So we can inform in this way as MCQ I dot j equal to j dot I, that means I cap dot j cap equals to j cap dot I cap equal to j cap dot k cap equal to k cap dot j cap equal to k cap dot I cap equal to I cap dot k cap, all the value will be 0. So from here a student may got the information to solve the MCQ also. These are too much important properties of the scalar product. A student will must teach this more and more. With the help of this dot product of two vectors we can get these too many information. A student will must remember all of this information. Thanks for all today. Next day we will discuss on more about the properties of dot product, and nextly we will discuss about the cross product. Thank you very much.